Star Wars. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. A lot of people know that from watching my channel. But one of the weirdest things about Star Wars is that in the universe of Star Wars, we have books, we have comic books, we have magazines, we have movies and cartoons and all sorts of other stuff. But the books, what's really weird about the books is when the original Star Wars came out, that is the original one they now call A New Hope, or Episode 4, there was a novelization. It said on it was written by George Lucas, but it was actually written by Alan Dean Foster, who is a phenomenal science fiction writer. He's done a lot of Star Trek and all sorts of other stuff. He's done other Star Wars things. In fact, he wrote the very first non-canon Star Wars book, which was Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Anyhow, he wrote that book in 1976, just before the movie came out. The book actually came out before the movie. So the book comes out, sold millions of copies. Great book. I read it back then when I was only about 12 years old. The weird thing is, George Lucas, over the years, we know he went back and he redid and re-released special edition versions of the movies. But he actually went back and had the books redone. Now, the books, I've read them and actually listened to them on Audible. They're not horrible, but I think the originals were better because there's too much of the revisionist stuff in there. They put stuff in there that had to do with the prequels, and I'm not shooting down the prequels. I enjoyed the prequels, but they didn't have to go back and change the books. I mean, they took out lots of stuff. They added other stuff. Like, for example, there's a scene in the revised version of the original Star Wars, A New Hope, where there is a scene where Obi-Wan is talking to R2-D2, and he actually says to R2, "Well, it was nice flying with you again," basically acknowledging the fact that he did spend a lot of time with him in the prequels, and that it was the first time he'd seen him in 20 years. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think, for what it's worth, it's great that they did redo some books, and they had some young authors do this. I mean, they weren't even born when the original Star Wars came out, the people who did the newer versions. But it's not against them, but why remove the original books? They're out of print. They're no longer available. You can't get the original Star Wars books, and I think that's a shame. So today's idea of the day is they should bring back the original novelizations. I think the first one, again, was Alan Dean Foster, but it said George Lucas. Then you had Donald F. Glut, and I forgot who wrote Return of the Jedi. But the point is they should go back and re-release those in their original versions, and that's today's idea of the day. All right, so that's today's idea of the day. I hope you liked it. If you visit ideaoftheday.com, you'll see a new one every day. Every day. Yeah, some of them don't suck. And don't forget to subscribe. And you can see them here every day. Brand new one. And some of my videos don't suck either.